Why do people in normally safe situations carry a firearm? Especially for an average person who likely has little firearms experience. If you're carrying a firearm and you don't have much firearms experience, you're a dumbass. Is this an American question I'm too European to understand? Retired army guy. Iraq, Afghanistan, etc. Never bothered with my concealed carry permit. I've been in lots of places where it is wise to be armed. 99.9% of the US is not such a place. The other 0.1% you are wiser to just avoid than worry about being armed just in case. I'm a hairstylist, and recently one of my boomers says she was elderly. Clients was talking about guns. She reached into her huge bag. It was just filled with so much stuff, and showed me a pistol. I was genuine concerned about how she carried it. Is that normal to just have a pistol in your purse? Loaded? I mean, if you were in a situation where you needed a gun, would stopping to rummage through a bag be the best thing? Also, could you accidentally shoot it if you're looking for your chapstick or sunglasses? What if your purse is hanging on a chair and it slips off and falls to the floor? Could it go off? Please add in the US, the rest of the world doesn't. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Seems like more hassle than it's worth. It's more comfortable to ride without a seatbelt than with one, but we still wear them in the off chance we get in an accident. Yes, it's unlikely you'll get into an accident, but there's always that small chance that you will. When seconds count, the police are only minutes away. Normally safe situations are the exact situations where our country has had horrible mass shootings repeatedly over the last couple of decades. On a few occasions where the right person was in the right place, firearm carriers have been able to stop these shootings in their tracks. I personally would never carry one. I don't feel comfortable carrying one and honestly don't trust that I could even put it to good use if an emergency like that happened. However, I do have people in my life that are comfortable and have gotten licenses, taken courses, etc., and really have the confidence and skill to use them for good if the time ever came. I would hope, and obviously prefer, that people who carry are those unlike myself who are trained, ready and willing to use their gun only for good and only if in a situation that called for it. I'm lucky enough to live in a developed country where I feel safe and have never in my life felt the need to carry any sort of self-defense tool, so it's inconceivable to me. I can only imagine that in countries where people feel the need to have a self-defense tool in daily life, that there's a good reason for it. Probably can't rely on emergency services, and probably high rates of crime, especially violent crime. If this is not the case where they live, then they likely have some issues with anxiety, paranoia, or something similar. TLDR. When you have a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. I have an ex-friend who is a former US Army soldier who carries his gun everywhere. This doesn't apply to everyone who does this, but I strongly believe it has to do with mental disorder in many cases. My ex-friend has undiagnosed PTSD from his time in the Middle East. He admits this privately, but refuses to get it checked out by a professional. He's even gone as far as faking that he's fine, so he won't lose his firearms license. On multiple occasions, he has brought his gun to my house and in my car, against my request not to. Our friendship ended due to him constantly sending "watch people die" type videos which directly were linked to a hobby I'm actively involved in. I overlooked it, but my son got tired of it and respectfully asked him to stop sending those videos. He became upset, and then ghosted us. I gave it 6 months for him to come to his senses, but he never did. prior to ending our friendship, his truck was broken into outside his house. Though he has a garage, he chooses to park on the street. He saw this happening because he is always looking at his Ring camera, most likely expecting this. There was nothing of value in the truck as he was expecting this to happen. He emptied his gun into the getaway car anyway. They sped off, and it seems like nobody got hit, as no police reports were made about gunshot injuries that night. Because they're insecure and crippled by fear or about to get on the news for ruining a bunch of lives. As the old adage says, it's better to have it and not need it, than need it and not have it. I have a fire extinguisher in my kitchen and I've never used it. I put my seat belt in every time I get in a car, even though it never been needed. I got both my indoor cat fixed even though they never see female cats. Sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry. Because when you hear a disturbance down at the barn, something you have checked on hundreds of times so you think it's just a calving problem, and you come around corner to see a bear carrying a calf away, you feel real stupid and helpless without one. A lot of concealed carry licensees practice with their carry guns more than police officers do. So I don't think your premise about experience is valid. As for the title question, they will tell you that it's better to have one and never need it than to not have one if you need it. Unless you have a principled objection to all violence. That's obviously correct, but it does ignore the probability of needing one. I never have, myself. But for every normally safe situation you can think of, there has probably been an attack in one like it, and the consequences of not being prepared are potentially catastrophic. You keep talking about the average person. What exactly do you mean by that? If you mean a person with an average amount of firearms knowledge, then that person probably doesn't own a gun in the first place. And definitely doesn't carry a gun. Carrying a gun requires effort. So why would anyone who has no interest in firearms go through that effort? But if by average person, you mean anyone who isn't police or military, consider Eli Dickin. https www.wthr.com/article/news/special reports/Greenwood Mall mass shooting /Eladikin Hanordwith All tribute for stopping Greenwood Park Mall shooter Indianapolis constitutional carry Todd Young, 53,196 cbf. 6 CBEC 0D4C5BB1C2CO1A2CA8 BA4D. I buckle my seatbelt, yet have never been in an accident. My new apartment building has a fire escape, yet in the 5 years they've been open has never had a fire. I have friends who carry EpiPens, yet have never used them. The list goes on. It's not about how frequently I use it. It's about being able to use it if I need to. I am white, and live in the Twin Cities. I have received death threats against myself and my younger, middle school age siblings for our skin color from people who honestly might have gone through with it if I wasn't carrying. I carry to protect whoever I might be in a position to help. It's not about how often I use my firearm, it's about being able to use it should I ever need to. Where I live, no one carries a firearm unless they are police or armed security services. Bodyguard. Even those who are transporting weapons to a shooting club or for hunting purposes must have those weapons locked away in their vehicle. Most of the population is not armed. And that's good. Welcome to Europe. False sense of security. CCW classes are more than useless in most states. Few instructors actually know what they're talking about. They've simply met the minimum requirements set by the state. I've completed the required CCW class in 4 states. And all have been completely worthless. There should be a ballistics class involved. Angle threats, etc. It should be difficult to complete so only people with actual skill can carry in public. Goes for police too. They're often worse than Joe Hillbilly. And only assholes open carry.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.